If somebody told me years ago that this area would be the most expensive place to live in Tampa, it wouldn't be a surprise because of its consistent history. But what the area has become and what it offers its residents now is what makes it so special. So the question remains, is it worth it?
I live, work, and play here. I love South Tampa.
I think South Tampa is incredible.
Hey, so listen, I'm retired military. I've been all over the world, and I love no place more than South Tampa.
South Tampa. It has always been a shining star in Tampa, and it continues to lead the way in areas to live for many of the reasons we're going to touch on in this video, but it's one of the most expensive areas to live in Tampa. Recently, I read a few articles from the Tampa Bay Business Journal showing this ultra luxury home that was priced at $21 million on Davis Island. Then came across this home that recently sold for $14.1 million in Beach Park, this home that sold for $10 million in Palma Ceia, and this one, it shocked me the most. Back in 2011, Derek Jeter combined 3 lots on Davis Island and built a 22,000 square foot mansion that he ended up renting to Tom Brady during his 3-year stint with the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Tom, you can stay.
Jeter sold this home in 2022, and the new buyers are tearing it down to build a 30,000 square foot estate. So now that I've name dropped to the best of my ability, what's the draw to living in South Tampa? Well, for starters, it's where it's located. South Tampa gives you easy access to our interstate system, which makes it a breeze to get around the city. For business professionals living here, you're wedged between our 2 business districts, downtown and the West Shore area. And if you like exploring our neighboring cities like St. Pete, Clearwater, and some of the best beaches in the country, you have easy access to a few bridges that'll take you there. For those of you that travel often, you can get to the airport within 10 minutes. And if you're one of the thousands employed by McDill Air Force Base, living near the southern end towards the base might make sense. Living in South Tampa, it's a choice. Being one of the priciest areas in Tampa, you choose to pay for being in the middle of all the action and the lifestyle it provides you. If you ask someone why they decided to live in South Tampa, they will almost always tell you because of its amenities. South Tampa has the highest concentration of boutique shops, restaurants, and entertainment in the Tampa area. This makes living here a dream for many because you'll never run out of things to do or date night ideas. Everything is right at your fingertips. Having chain restaurants or big box stores like Target and Trader Joe's nearby is always nice, and you have that too, but casually walking around Hyde Park Village is the best. There's tons of small quaint shops and restaurants galore. Sometimes in the morning, I like to head down to Buddy Brew and enjoy a fresh coffee to get my workday started. Or in the evenings, my wife and I will come down here for an easy date night. The other day, we actually shared an appetizer at Timpano's with a nice glass of wine, strolled down to Bar Taco for a fresh made margarita, and while we were hoping to get lucky and walk into On Swan without reservations, we ended up just grabbing a casual burger at Goody Goody. And if you want to pick up the pace on your evening, the Soho district is just around the corner, and while it does have popular options for restaurant, it's most known for its nightlife. Growing up in Tampa, Ybor City was where you would go to have a good time and have a late night. But since the Soho area came on the scene, you can find the area packed with a younger crowd filling the Irish pubs and trendy bars. If you're a foodie at heart like myself, you will love the fine dining options in South Tampa. Burn's Steakhouse is a staple with over 600,000 wines in their private portfolio, and you can never go wrong with a nice Italian meal at Bella's or Forbici. Then I'd have to mention Edison Food and Drink Lab, Elevage, Haven, Mise en Place, and the list just goes on and on. From Sunday brunch to a date night out on the town, South Tampa will have you buzzing, and this is just the start of it. South Tampa is one of the most active areas. People always ask me about the walkable areas, and to be honest, it's pretty rare to find in Tampa, but with spots like the Hyde Park Village, Soho, and Bayshore Boulevard, you now have options. Bayshore is one of the most prominent landmarks in the city, as it's known as the world's longest continuous sidewalks, and you'll always see locals walking, running, or biking, taking in the beautiful views. If you continue on Bayshore, this will eventually connect to the Tampa Riverwalk, extending your walkability to downtown or north following the riverfront. However, I joined a run club a few years back that starts at Irish 31 Pub in Hyde Park Village, runs through the nearby historic Hyde Park neighborhood, down Bayshore and back, all ending with a nice cold one. And let me tell you, it's easily a top 5 running route in Tampa. So I just mentioned the historic area of Hyde Park, which is the #2 neighborhood in the country to live in. So stick with me because we're gonna talk about the amazing neighborhoods in South Tampa shortly, but there is so much more to do here than running and eating. So what else does South Tampa have for you? Well, it's more than just water views. How about getting out on the water? South Tampa is surrounded by the bay, and there are plenty of boat ramps for you to easily get out on the water for some fun. My wife surprised me a few years back for my birthday by chartering a boat And we went inshore fishing for the first part of the day, then had the captain anchor at one of the sandbar islands nearby, and we spent a few hours relaxing in the water while we cooked up some fresh fish that we just caught and washed it down with a few cold ones. Now, we did all this and still made it back to pick up the kids from school. I personally like casually boating with friends and family, but if you're into more of a social aspect, South Tampa has a few more private exclusive options you might like. For example, you might like the Tampa Yacht Club, the West Shore Yacht Club, or the Davis Island Yacht Club. Then again, if boating isn't your forte, maybe something like the Stovall House or the Palma Ceia Golf and Country Club would do the trick. And if you're simply looking for a social hall that has a great vibe and it's the perfect place to meet others, Oxford Exchange is my go-to. You can start to see that the area is filled with things that will keep you busy. And I didn't even mention that within a 10-minute drive, you can get to the International Mall, the new Midtown Tampa, or the downtown Water Street area, which I love. But it's important to love your neighborhood, so let's see your options, but not before I ask you for 10 seconds. If you're thinking of moving to Tampa, or maybe you already live here and need help buying or selling a home, we are licensed realtors, so please reach out to my team as we would love to help you and your family find your next home. Our contact info is on the screen and it doesn't cost any extra to reach out. Now, I started this video by showing you a few ultra luxury home sales, and while not every home is over $1 million, it is a very sought after place to live for all the reasons I previously explained. South Tampa is made up of over 20 neighborhoods that seem to just flow into one another, but make no mistake, each area has its own unique characteristics. While searching for the best neighborhood that suits your lifestyle, you'll also come across a nice variety of architecture. When making your way through Hyde Park, you'll find historic bungalows, waterfront mansions on Bayshore, massive estate homes in Palma Ceia and Beach Park, and in many areas, you'll find condos and townhome options. And I wouldn't just rely on the fact that Derek Jeter or Tom Brady chose to live in South Tampa. That would be silly. How about taking a look at niche.com and you can see that Hyde Park ranked as the #2 best neighborhood to live in the country. Focusing on Tampa, we can also scroll down the top 5 and see Hyde Park, Harbor Island, Beach Park, and Palma Ceia are the first 4 or 5 neighborhoods to live in Tampa. And since this video is all about figuring out if South Tampa is worth its weight, I looked a bit further and found that many of the South Tampa neighborhoods ranked locally and nationally as the best neighborhoods to live, best places to raise a family, and best for young professionals. The data points that go into ranking each area include housing, good for families, jobs, outdoor activities, nightlife, diversity, weather, health and fitness, commute, and the last one is a big one for South Tampa, schools. Growing up in Tampa, it was always known that South Tampa had some of the best public schools. In fact, people would buy a home there just to use the address because they wanted their kids to get into the schools. They have strong school rankings from elementary all the way through high school, with the following being a few of their popular choices: Grady, Ballast Point, and Mitchell for elementary, Coleman and Wilson for middle, and Plant or Robinson for high school, depending on your child's needs. Rankings in school zones, they're always subject to change, so I always suggest doing your own research on schools prior to choosing a home. So as we wrap up our little tour of life in South Tampa, you might still be wondering, is this place really worth the hype and the price tag? Well, truth be told, there's no one-size-fits-all answer to that. It all depends on your vibe and what you're looking for in a place to call home, but hey, looking back on everything we've seen, South Tampa has got a little something for everyone. It's a great place for young and seasoned professionals, families doing their thing, even retirees soaking up the good life. This place has it all. It's like a buffet of lifestyle options. So if you're thinking South Tampa could be your next move, or if you're still exploring your options around town, reach out to my team. We're all about helping you find that perfect spot to call home sweet home. So until that next video, I'll catch you later. Woo!